Hello and welcome to the Kayden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. And joining me right here today is Rick Hart. Rick, how are you?
I'm well, Kayden. How are you?
Fantastic. So why don't you start by introducing yourself to everybody?
Okay, my name's Rick Hart. I'm a singer-songwriter, I guess, of the country, old school country persuasion that lives in Melbourne, Australia. And yeah, I've been, I guess, songwriting and performing my songs, either whether it be solo or with different bands, probably over the last, seriously, a little bit more seriously, probably over about the last 8 years. And yeah, so very much influenced by a lot of the great country artists and the likes of Merle Haggard, George Jones, Buck Owens, Waylon Jennings, and I could go on and on. And yeah, just love as a songwriter. I guess the thing that really drives me is that the creative process. I love writing. I'm always, having melodies, having lyrics float through my head, always picking up an acoustic guitar I've got sitting around and toying with it. And so yeah, which has culminated in a couple of releases today. And my last album was Let Me In. And I've just recently finished recording my second album, which will be called In the Midnight Sky Alone. And recently released my first single, which will be off that album, which is called This Hart. So exciting times ahead, I guess.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Well, congratulations for all the success that you've had, Rick, so far.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Got a dog there. I see.
I have, and I do apologize in advance. She's a little bit of a barker. We adopted her probably about 6 months ago as a rescue, and she's a little bit anxious, but she's a lovely girl. So yeah, so you might hear some barking, and I do apologize in advance.
No worries at all. That's totally okay. It's life that happens. So. So
there she goes, almost on cue.
Yes. That is just great. So if you could open a show for any artist, Rick, who would you choose and why?
I guess living or past.
I would say both.
Oh, look, if it was living, I'd love to open a show for Dwight Yoakam. I'm a huge fan of Dwight Yoakam, and aside from my own original music, I've recently put together, and I'm singing and fronting a predominantly a honky tonk covers band, and we do a few Dwight songs in there. So yeah, I think I'd love to open for Dwight. I've always been a big fan.
That's wonderful. So do you have any advice to those who might want to start like singing, performing, but doesn't really know how to get their foot in the door?
I think in today's with everything that's out there, with the, let's call it the digital age, there's so many ways you can do it now. So you're not kind of restricted by the fact that you have to go make a demo, sort of, send it to people, hope they're interested. And, there's so many ways now that you can set yourself up, by yourself, online, whether it be through the various aggregators that can get you onto things like, the streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music and so forth. You can also, set up essentially your own website and press kits online with things like Bandcamp and SoundCloud. And, there's a lot of great website tools that, you can sort of set up pretty easily using your own. But I think the main thing from a music point of view is really just to, I guess, stay true to yourself, not feel that you have to sort of, I guess, be something that you're not necessarily. So stay true to the what you love doing, the music you love writing, and people will come, and I've found that as well. I've very much just, as I said, I love the writing creative process, so I've always stayed true to that. And I know when I've written something that sounds a little too contrived, and it normally finds its way to the waste paper bin. But I think, yeah, stay true to yourself, believe in yourself, and really just find those different outlets on the internet to get your music out there, whether it be YouTube, setting up a YouTube channel, which I've got, as I mentioned, website, Instagram,
Mhm.
Facebook. They're all great ways just to sell yourself and promote yourself. So use those things which are free and out there and available to you, and really just work. I think work at your craft. Just work at getting better, whether that be the songwriting itself or whether that be the playing of your instrument, your vocals, whatever the case might be. Just push yourself. Find what motivates you as well, I think. So yeah, hopefully I've imparted a few little wise words.
I agree. I think it's important if you're just starting out to be able to market yourself with all the tools like you mentioned, because once you do that, you never know. Like, there's been people that just go on there saying, and then all of a sudden, next thing you know, before a blink of the eye, you are signed to a label. But that's not necessarily for everybody. So don't like expect the best out of it, but just take your time with it as well.
Yeah, and I think I know certainly in Australia, and I
Mhm.
imagine it's probably tenfold over in America. There's so many independent rather,
Right. Right.
distributors, and that can help you get your music out there. You don't have to be. I guess gone are the days where there's that endless craving to be
Mhm.
signed up by a major label or anything
Right.
like
Right.
that, because there's so many other ways to get your music out there now. And a lot of these independent labels, have ties into publishing companies themselves, or are attached to bigger organizations as well. So you never know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years, Rick? Do you have a goal set for yourself?
Look, I think I'm in a what I call my happy place at the moment. When I
Okay.
started this little musical journey, I think I wanted to get to a point where music for me would just be totally self-funded.
Mhm.
What I made for my music, I could invest in my music. I didn't have to, being a father of three and having a family. I didn't want to sort of keep delving into the
Right.
personal funds, and that's happened for me. I've been able to achieve that where
Mhm.
I make enough money from what I do through the music that I can put back into the music, and I can look forward to my next recording. In terms of what I see for the future, yeah, as I said, the new album hopefully will be out later in the year. Hopefully there'll be some interest around that. I've been really, really grateful and humbled by the reaction to This Heart, which is the first single.
Mhm.
And so hopefully there's bigger and better things to come there. I love the idea of being back in a band, and hence why I started that honky tonk band. But I think I'll also put a band together around the original music and start to play, more of those full band shows around as well. Um, I love the sort of camaraderie and the creative process of being in a band. So I think that's on the horizon. And look, I don't put a ceiling on it, nor do I get too down on myself if things aren't happening quickly enough or
Mhm.
anything like that. I think with age comes a little bit of balance in mind. You got to find happiness is the key, and I think through COVID, I actually weirdly enough, I had to cancel so many
Mhm.
gigs and so forth, but I ended up finding and really, reattaching myself to what made me most happy with music and songwriting
Mhm.
and things like that. And that was really doing it at a pace and doing it in a way that was right for me, not just because someone else is
Mhm.
doing it that way. And you can make that mistake by watching what others are doing and feel you have to do it that way. And I've found that that's not the case. And so yeah, continue to be happy, because I think that's the one thing I get out of songwriting and creating music is I get that happiness, I get that balance, that clarity, and then I can apply that to all other aspects of my life. So It sounds a little bit fluffy, but that's kind of I guess, what I get out of it. I'd like to do some more releases. I've actually on the back burner. I've sort of been saving some songs I've written for a little bit more of a sort of a rock and roll kind of,
Mhm.
still with that country tinge, but a little bit more rock and roll sort of album that I want to do at some point. So hopefully in the next couple of years that might come
Mhm.
along.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I think that your voice, from what I've heard, I think it would be a good fit for sure.
Oh, thank you, Kayden. Thanks.
You're
Really appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're most welcome. So, where can people find you on social media if they want to keep up what you're up to?
Yeah, so they can visit my website, which is www.rickhartmusic.com, and that's Hart Hart. So rickhartmusic.com. They can find me on YouTube, which is YouTube/rickhartmusic. On Instagram, they can follow me, which is at rhartmusic, Hart music, and same tag on Facebook as well, Hart Music. So they can find me on all those channels. From my website, I'm hooked into my Bandcamp store as well. So if they like what they hear, they can purchase any of the CDs or merchandise, t-shirts, and all the bits and pieces off my store from there.
Fantastic. And what is a hidden talent that people don't know about you that you have?
Oh, now you put me on the spot. What's a hidden talent? I make a pretty mean pasta.
Really?
I'm not known for my cooking skills per se, but I make a pretty good pasta and a very good avocado dip, I'm told.
Hmm.
So guacamole
Hmm.
dip, I'm told. So they've become a little bit of my signatures in terms of the family dishes. So yeah, I'm sure people wider than my family don't know about that, but we'll go with those.
Definitely, definitely. What is a message they would like to give your fans or anyone that might be listening or watching this, Rick?
Look, I'd really just like to say thank you to certainly people that have followed my journey for however long, that have bought any of my CDs, any of my music, downloaded, streamed, um, and really just follow that journey, because the kind words and that
Hmm.
and the support you get, it really does drive you on. There's the self drive, but it just to get that sort of, those accolades, and not just awards, but the kind words that come from
Hmm.
people, and that really does spur you on. So I'd like to thank everyone for all the support they've given me. I'd like to thank people like yourself, Kayden, too, and certainly community radio across the board, whether it be in Australia, whether it be in America and England, that have supported my music and supported independent music in general. Um, uh, Without yourselves and without people like you, our music doesn't get heard. Because we're
Hmm.
not signed to major labels. So we just want our music out there and being heard. And I think without that community independent radio, that doesn't happen. So to have so many people from that area in my corner is, again, very humbling, but it's a great thing to have.
Oh, absolutely. And Rick, is there anything that I forgot to mention that you would like to mention, my friend?
No, just that people can, yeah, if they want to download and stream the new single "This Heart," that's available on all major streaming services. It's available to download off the iTunes store as well. And just look out for the new album, which will be called "In the Midnight Sky Alone." At this stage, probably targeting a October-November release at this stage.
That is great. Well, Rick Hart, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the Kayden Gordon Show today's Best Country Mix. We sure do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on, mate. Really do appreciate you reaching out and the support.